Welcome back, everybody. So, Gotham Season 4, Episode 12. I have waited 3 months for this, for the return of Gotham, and last night it finally happened, and I literally just finished watching it. So, what do I think of this episode? It didn't disappoint me in any way, shape, or form, and if I was to be honest, I didn't actually expect as much to happen in this episode as it did. It was a very fast moving episode. It was the quickest 45 minutes ever. There was three different kind of plot lines going on, which I'm going to talk about briefly. It's not going to be a hugely in-depth review. It's not. I'm going to try and make it not spoiler, or at least spoiler as I possibly can, just in case you haven't seen it. But the first storyline, which will be probably the main one, is Dr. Lee Tompkins. Now, obviously, as you saw at the end of the first half of the season, there's hints that she's going to try and change the Narrows for the better. That is her plan because she believes she can do it, and the Riddler has obviously tried to convince her that these are her people now. So let's try and change it. And obviously, the Riddler's on board with her. He's on her side. It's an interesting storyline because she has now, in this process, become a target. So basically, in this episode, and even in the promos, you can kind of tell that there is an assassination attempt on her. On that side of that story, I can't say nothing else without giving it away, but all I can tell you is it's actually very, very good. Watch the episode right to the end. It's actually really, really good. And it also sees Lee Tompkins and Jim Gordon reunite for the first time since the end of season 3, which wasn't hugely dramatic. There was some kind, let me put it like this, kind gestures swapped between them, but there's no anger or anything like that. The Riddler in this, he is good throughout this episode, but like I said, watch the end of the episode. It's actually really, really good. So moving on to the next plotline in this was Alfred. So obviously from the end of the first half of the season, you saw Alfred get fired by Bruce Wayne, and in this episode, in the second half, you see him basically living in the Narrows quite cheaply, and something happens to him in this episode where you get to see him fight quite a lot, and you get to see him angry quite a lot, which is actually kind of a really, really nice change, to be fair, because he is badass. To be fair, he is awesome, honest to God. Sean Pertwee as Alfred, he's got that the subtle touches of Alfred, but he's also got that brutalness as well that goes with it, which is really, really cool, and I actually really, really did enjoy. It's not a massively in-depth storyline, but it's a good storyline. It's another part of this episode that I actually really, really did enjoy, and I can't wait to see a bit more. So, going on to the next one is the return, or the rebirth, I should say, of Poison Ivy. Now, in the first half of the season, you saw her take all those toxins, and then in the promo, you saw her reborn. She is incredibly gorgeous, by the way. Incredibly gorgeous. It's interesting because she doesn't have a huge memory from the past body that she was in, but she's very different. She's a lot more powerful. You can tell that she's brilliant. I love her as Poison Ivy. I actually really, really did enjoy her as Poison Ivy. She basically, at a certain point in this episode, she's watching the TV, and there is a really cheesy kind of ad to do with the sirens, Gotham Sirens, at their club, advertising their club and all that kind of stuff. And there's a great line there. It goes, "I remember you. I also remember I hated all of you." And she basically goes to visit the club and just basically kind of stirs a few things up in there. Nothing too major, but she just stirs a few things up. Obviously, Selena Kyle figures out who she is and then plays the visit. That's another point that I can't really go into, just in case you haven't seen it. Generally, I actually did like her. It's going to be interesting to see how this storyline develops, because I got a feeling she's going to be a key character for the next 2 or 3 episodes, and she's going to be hugely key to do with Bruce Wayne, as you saw from the promos. If you haven't seen the promos, just watch the promos. Towards this, I just want to see how she pans out and how she's going to affect Gotham, because she seems like the anti-hero. She's bad, but she's also good. and that's what it comes across in this. So it's really really interesting. Like I said, I can't really. It's not really a spoiler. I can't make this a spoiler just in case you haven't seen it. I actually really really did enjoy this episode. The ending's really really good. You see a return of somebody. Also, you got to see Grundy in there. He remembers himself as now Butch, which you did actually see at the end of the first half of the season. You don't see much of Bruce Wayne, but then again, I didn't really expect to. Not in this episode. I got a feeling it'll be the next episode and the episode after to set up the end part of this season. Generally, if it carries on with this kind of momentum, I'm going to love the second half. So, on that note, please tell me what you think if you've seen it and put that in the comments down below. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's actually a really, really good episode, in my opinion. For me personally, I actually really, really did enjoy it. On that note, hope you have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care and goodbye.